So hi guys, today we're going to have a look at the Mr. T of the cygnar world, and that is Siege Brisbane. So if we have a quick look at the Major's card, you can see that he has some quite impressive stats for cygnar Warcaster, and particularly the fact that he's got an armor of 17, which, as we know in cygnar, doesn't crop up very often. There's his abilities, his spells, and his feat. So yeah, this guy is incredibly tough. He's one of the main, I would say maybe not maybe main's the wrong word, favorite, I would say, warcasters for cygnar. So many people play him just because he is just so much fun. He's got so many good little tactics and things that you can use with him, that he gets a lot of play time, and you see him a lot in tournaments. So there's his main body, as you can see, quite chunky, quite big. There's his incredibly impressive rocket rifle, which, let's face it, is just a big rocket launcher that he's going to be using against his enemies. There's his couple of little smokestacks that go on to his backpack. And finally, his big power hammer that he uses to stove people's heads in. So what I'm going to do is I'll take this away, I'll assemble it together, we'll put the ink on it, and we'll come back and talk about the tactics. Hey, you know the score. We'll see you after the break. So hi guys, we're back and we've got Siege inked up, so let's have a quick look under the close cam and see what he looks like. As you can see, he's got very bulky armour compared to a lot of the other cygnar warcasters, with his huge Havoc hammer and his incredibly impressive rocket cannon. He's one of the most aggressive cygnar warcasters that's out there. If we have a quick look at his card, you'll see that there we go, par 14 with that rocket cannon, par 14 with a Havoc, and well, they look reasonably average, those abilities. He is darn good. There's his feat, of course, which his feat knocks the enemy armor inside his control area in half. So those par 14s from that rocket cannon of his are suddenly going to be absolutely devastating, as well as any of the ranged attacks that cygnar can come up with. If you imagine that's your Khador Heavy Jack getting knocked down to an armor of 10, armor 10 on a Khador Heavy that already has a defense of 10. I mean, let's face it, you can sit and shoot them all day and take chunks out of it. So having a look, the most impressive thing about Siege is his rocket cannon. Not only does it do a par 14 with a range of 14, it has a special attack, and the special attack basically means that he gets an AoE 4 that he can place anywhere within range. That's place now, that's not roll to hit, scatter, none of that nonsense, that's place. He takes the 4-inch AoE, he places it, and he can make a ranged attack roll against every model that's underneath the AoE 4, and he can do that once a turn. I mean, that's just monstrous. Now the power's slightly reduced. The power goes down from 14 to 12, but still, that's going to annihilate units of infantry. He doesn't get his aiming bonus, of course. There are a couple of extra rules and things that dictate what he can actually do with this AoE 4. But basically, what it does is just wipe out units. You're placing AoE 4, bang, gone. Fantastic. I love it. It's a brilliant rifle. It's also another reason why you want to take Reinhold with him, because Reinhold can give you an extra shot. What are you going to do with that? Well, I'll leave it up to your imagination, what you can do with extra shots. Okay, so having a look at his other abilities, of course, Havoc, his mechanical hammer, has critical smite. So whenever he's in melee combat, if you're rolling to hit, might as well go for the boost, get 3 dice. If you roll a double, his big hammer is going to knock them back, slam them effectively, d6 back, knock them down. Once they're down, you get all your warjacks and stuff to start pounding on them. What spells does he have? Right, well, going down through them, Explosivo is the first spell that Siege has. That turns ranged attacks for one model. That's one model, even one out of a unit. So you pick one guy, and for one focus point, it turns his ranged attack into a magical attack and an AoE 3. What are you going to do with that? Well, you shoot things like pistol wraiths, just generally shooting stuff. It's a particularly good one to put onto something like maybe the trencher sniper, something that's got a decent range, so you can actually drop that AoE and turn it into a small artillery unit for a turn by spending the 1 point. I got a magical artillery unit as well. magical ranged attacks don't turn up very often. And when they do, they're great for taking out things like Paladins of the Wall and all those solos that have defenses against things that aren't magical. He's got Force Hammer. Force Hammer is his 4-point damage spell. 4-point damage spell that has a range 10 and does power 12. It's not bad. It slams things that it hits. It's okay. Not bad. I mean, it's good for repositioning and stuff like that. I wouldn't use it that often with a cost of 4. I mean, it's a bit expensive for effectively what you're getting. I mean, you're much rather saving your focus points in order to boost up your rifle attacks, just to get some extra damage out of them. Then, of course, he's got his signature spell, which is Foxhole. Foxhole's great. It has a range of his control area. Again, it's another placement, so you can place a 5-inch AoE, that's the biggest size of AoE, anywhere within its control area, and that becomes a foxhole. Foxhole grants cover, and anything inside it doesn't block line of sight. Now, that's good for your own guys, to give them cover, and to sort of get them down. Effectively, they're digging down into the ground, so you can shoot through them. Fantastic if you want to start shooting through your own guys. Even better if you want to use it on your enemy to stop them blocking line of sight as well. If you imagine that there's a big warjack standing in front of a guy and you drop your foxhole on top of it, the warjack drops down. The guy's no longer got protection from any of those shots. Just start shooting through it. Then again, he's got Mage Sight, of course. Mage Sight is another 5-inch AoE, and it's got control area as its range again. That removes stealth and other things like concealment and stuff like that. It's pretty good. It's not a bad ability if you've got plenty of guys like long gunners and other stuff that can't really deal with stealth very well. If you're running mages and gun mages and stuff like that, it's probably not as useful. But definitely if you're running if you're on something like the trenchers or the long gunners that can't deal with stealth very well, it's a great wee ability just to expose some of those stealth units like Bane Thralls and any of those other Crix units that advance up the field covered with stealth. Finally, then he's got Rift. Rift is his AoE, does power 13, has an AoE 4, and costs him 3 points of that. I mean, basically, again, his rocket rifle is much better. So, you would be wanting to save that, and you might as well spend the 3 focus that it would cost you for Rift to do 3 boosted ranged attack rolls to hit 3 things with your placed rocket. So there you go, guys. What do you think of him? Is he just the baddest Warcaster that there is for cygnar? Or are you still a striker man at heart? I mean, he is a very impressive Warcaster, and he turns up a lot in tournaments, just simply because of his ability to place a lot of effects rather than having to roll to attack rolls and things like that. So he is really competitive compared to a lot of the others. What do you think, guys? Drop some comments below and tell me what you think of Siege Brisbane.